Your love for Chijioke is strong. I have heard your heart's wish. Nnenna exclaimed, filled with hope. Is there a way for me to see him again? Yes, Nnenna, the spirit said. Your love is pure, and love like this doesn't end. You will be rewarded for your bravery and saving Ezele village. Go to the river bank at dawn, and there you will find the one your heart seeks. In a quiet village of Obodoma, a woman named Adamma was known for her kindness and generosity. She was married to Okeke, a hard-working farmer. Together, they longed for a child to fill their home with laughter. Yet, years passed, and their home remained silent. The people of Obodoma whispered behind her back, casting suspicious glances her way. Why hasn't Adamma been blessed? They would murmur, is there a curse upon her? Or has she angered the gods? These whispers haunted Adamma, but she kept her pain hidden. Night after night, she knelt at the shrine of Allah, the goddess of the fertility, praying, Allah, Mother of the earth, hear my cry. Please, bless me with a child to bring joy to my husband and our home. One day, as Adamma returned from the stream, with her pot of water balanced on her head, she sensed someone watching her from the shadow. She looked around nervously, spotting an old woman standing alone on the narrow path. The woman's back was bent with age, and her hair was as white as the moonlight. Adamma had never seen her before, yet there was something strangely familiar about her. Adamma, the woman called, her voice low but clear. I know your sorrow. I see how your heart ached for a child. Startled, Adamma stared at the woman. Mama, who are you? How do you know my name? The old woman chuckled softly. Names means little to those who walk between worlds. She replied, but you may call me Nnenna. I know you, Adamma, and I know of the many sacrifices you have made. Adamma's heart pounded. How did this stranger know her so well? Was she a spirit in disguise? Mama, if you know my sorrow, then help me. Adamma pleaded. What must I do to be blessed with a child? Nnenna's face softened, and she spoke with a voice both soothing and unsettling. The herbs and offerings you have brought are not enough. You must seek the spirits themselves, the one who dwell deep within the forest. Where, Mama? Adamma asked, her voice trembling with hope and fear. Tonight, when the full moon rises, go to the ancient Iroko tree in the forest. Take with you a piece of white cloth and a calabash of fresh palm wine. Offer these at the tree's roots and speak these words. Oh, spirits of the land, oh, ancestors, I seek your blessing. Grant me the gift of fruit of the womb. Adamma shivered, sensing that this was not ordinary ritual, but desperation overweighed her fear, and she nodded. I will do as you say, Mama. The old woman smiled, her eyes twinkling like stars. Then you shall find what you seek. Without another word, she vanished into the shadow, leaving Adamma alone on the path. That night, when the full moon cast an eerie glow over the village, Adamma ventured into the forest, her heart pounding with every step. The forest seemed darker than usual, as if holding secrets she wasn't meant to uncover. She reached the ancient iroko tree, its branches stretching into the sky, casting long, twisted shadow over her. With trembling hands, Adamma placed the white cloth at the tree's root and poured the palm wine onto the earth. Her voice barely above a whisper, she said, "O spirits of the land, O ancestors, I seek your blessing. Grant me the gift of the fruit of the womb." As she finished, a sudden gust of wind swept through the trees, and the air grew thick with the scent of earth and mystery. Adamma felt a strange warmth envelop her, as if invisible hands were wrapping around her, filling her with a sense of peace and hope. Days turned into weeks, and whispers began to stir in Obodoma once more. Adamma looked brighter, her step lighter, and her face glowed with hidden joy. The villagers noticed the change, and one day, Adamma herself felt the unmistakable stirring of life within her. News spread like wildfire. The gods have finally blessed Adamma, the villagers exclaimed, their voice filled with awe. The spirits have heard her prayers. When her child was born, Adamma named her Nenna, after the mysterious woman who had guided her to the forest. She never saw Nenna again, and sometimes she wondered if the old woman had been a spirit herself, sent by the gods to answer her prayers. But in her heart, she knew that the spirits of the land had indeed blessed her, granting her the gift she had longed for all her life. Months turned into years, and little Nenna grew quickly, filling Adamma and the Okeke's home with laughter and joy. Nenna was a lively child, with eyes that sparkled like morning dawn, and a spirit as bright as the sun. Everyone in Obodoma adored her. She was kind, curious, and showed a wisdom far beyond her age. One evening, Adamma sat under the moonlight, watching Nenna play with other village children. She couldn't help but feel deep gratitude in her heart. Yet, a part of her mind drifted to the strange old woman, Nenna, who had shown her the path to becoming a mother. She wondered if Nenna was still wandering the forest, bestowing blessings on those in need. One night, as the village lay in deep slumber, Adamma heard a gentle knock at her door. She stirred, wondering who could visit at a late hour. When she opened the door, her heart skipped a beat. There, bathed in the silvery glow of the moon, stood the old woman, Nenna. Her back was still curved, and her hair was still as white as cotton. But her eyes shone with a mysterious light. "Nenna," Adamma gasped, clutching her chest. "Is it truly you?" "Yes, Adamma," Nenna replied softly. "I have returned to see the fruit of your prayers." Adamma led Nenna into her home, offering her a place to sit. She quickly brought a calabash of water and some roasted yams to honor her guest. Nenna smiled and took a small sip, her gaze resting on the child sleeping peacefully in the corner. "Is this your daughter?" Nnenna asked, her voice tender. Yes, her name is Nnenna. Adamma said, her voice filled with gratitude. She is the light of our lives. Nnenna nodded, her face glowing serious. Adamma, I must tell you something. This child is special, gifted by the spirits themselves. She was chosen before birth, and her path will not be like others. You must guide her with care, for she carries a part of the spirit world within her. Adamma's heart grew heavy with worry. Mama, what do you mean? Will she face danger? Nnenna placed a comforting hand on Adamma's shoulder. Do not fear, my child. The spirits are wise. Nnenna has a destiny to bring peace and healing to people. But you must teach her to respect the land, the forest, and all creatures, for they are her allies. The words hung in the air, filling Adamma with both pride and fear. Nnenna stood up, preparing to leave. Before she stepped out into the night, she turned back and said, Remember, Adamma, whenever Nnenna needs guidance, take her to the forest. The spirits will show her the way. And with that, Nnenna disappeared into the darkness, leaving Adamma in awe. As the day went on, Adamma kept Nnenna's words in her heart. She taught Nnenna about the importance of honoring nature, respecting elders, and helping others. The villagers noticed that Nnenna had a special touch. Injured animals will find their way to her, and plants seemed to thrive in her care. They whispered that the child was a gift from the gods, blessed to heal the world around her. But Adamma knew that Nnenna's journey was only beginning. She watched her daughter grow, always with a watchful eyes, knowing that one day the forest spirit will call her. And when that day come, Adamma vowed to be ready, for she knew her daughter was destined for something far greater than she could imagine. Years passed, and Nnenna continued to blossom, her presence bringing joy to the entire village of Obodoma. She was no longer a little girl, but a young woman, grateful and kind-hearted. Her connection with the nature became even stronger, and the villagers would often seek her out for help with sick animals or wilting crops. Nnenna's gentle hands and soft words seemed to have a magical effect, and it was clear to all that she was not an ordinary child. One warm evening, as Nnenna was gathering herbs by the river, she noticed something unusual. The forest seemed quieter than usual, as if every creature was holding its breath. Then, out of the corner of her eyes, she saw a faint glowing light coming from deep within the woods. Curious and feeling a strange pull in her heart, Nnenna followed the light, her feet moving as if guided by an unseen force. After walking for some time, she found herself standing by the ancient iroko tree, the same one where her mother, Adamma, had once offered her prayers for a child. The iroko seemed to glow under a moonlight, and Nnenna felt a deep reverence filled her heart. Just then, a soft voice whispered, "Nnenna, daughter of the spirit, we have been waiting for you." Nnenna gasped, looking around for the source of the voice, but there was no one there. Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "We are the spirits of this land, guardians of Obodoma." The voice replied gently, "You have been chosen to carry our blessings, to heal and protect this village." Nenna's heart raced. She had always felt a connection to the forest, but she never imagined she was chosen by the spirits themselves. "What must I do?" she asked, willing to serve as they wished. "Return here in 3 days with an offering of white chalk, palm oil, and the finest kola nut," the voice instructed. "Under the full moon, we shall reveal your path." With that, the light faded, and the forest returned to its usual sounds. Nenna hurried back home, her mind buzzing with wonder and excitement. She could barely wait to tell her mother what had happened. When she got home, she found Adamma sitting by the fire, waiting for her. Seeing Nenna's wide eyes and breathless state, Adamma smiled knowingly. "The forest had called you, hasn't it?" she asked gently. Nenna nodded, her heart full of pride. "Mama, they told me to return in 3 days with an offering. They said they will reveal my path." Adamma held her daughter's hand, her eyes shining with pride and a hint of fear. "Nenna, I always knew this day would come. You have a gift, a blessing from the spirits, but it is also a responsibility. Promise me, my child, that you will always use your gift for good, to help others and protect our village." "I promise, Mama," Nenna replied, her voice steady. The days passed quickly, and soon it was the night of the full moon. Nenna prepared her offerings carefully, wrapping the white chalk, the palm oil, and kola nut in a piece of cloth. She walked alone to the iroko tree, her heart filled with both excitement and reverence. Under the bright light of the full moon, she laid her offerings at the base of the iroko and knelt before it. The same warm light appeared again, surrounding her in a gentle glow. "Nenna," the spirit spoke to her, "you are now the one with the land, its healer and protector. But remember, this path is not an easy one. You will face challenges, and not everyone will understand your gift. Yet, as long as you stay true to your heart, the land will always guide you." A wave of peace washed over her as she felt the spirit's presence, like the gentle touch of a loved one. From that moment on, Nenna knew her purpose: to protect the land of Obodoma and its people. As she walked back to the village that night, the forest seemed more alive than ever. The trees whispered secrets, the animals watched her withstanding, and the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. Nenna was no longer just Adamma's daughter. She was now the guardian of Obodoma, the one chosen by the spirit. Her journey was only beginning, and she knew she would face many trials, but she was ready, for the strength of the land was now within her. The news of Nenna's calling spread through the village of Obodoma like a wildfire. Some villagers celebrated, believing she was truly blessed by the spirit. They came to her with ailments and worries, and Nenna did her best to ease their pains with herbs and words of comfort. But not everyone was pleased with her newfound role. Some whispered behind her back, doubting her powers and even fearing her connection to the unseen world. Among the skeptics was Okafor, a wealthy farmer with influence in the village. He was known for his stubbornness and his dislike of anything he did not understand. Okafor's daughter had been unwell for weeks, and none of the village healers had been able to cure her. One morning, as Okafor passed by the village square, he overheard some villagers praising Nnenna. They said she has the gift of the spirit. If anyone can cure your daughter, it is her. One elder said to him. Okafor scowled. What gift does she have that our ancestors have not blessed us with? She is just a young girl. I will not waste my time on childish beliefs. But as the day went by, his daughter's condition grew worse. Desperate, Okafor finally swallowed his pride and went to see Nnenna. He found her at the edge of the forest, gathering herbs with a quiet determination. Nnenna, Okafor called, his voice heavy with reluctance. They say you have the power of the spirit. If this is true, then prove it. Heal my daughter. Nnenna looked at him calmly and nodded. I will do my best, Okafor. Bring her to the forest tonight, and we shall see what the spirits say. When night fell, Okafor brought his daughter, Ijoma, to the Iroko tree where Nnenna had received her calling. The moon shone brightly, casting a soft glow over the gathering. Nnenna placed her hand on Ijoma's forehead and whispered a prayer to the spirits, asking for guidance. Then she prepared a mixture of herbs, chanting softly as she ground them into a paste. As Nnenna walked, Okafor watched with a mix of hope and skepticism. Suddenly, a cold wind blew through the trees, making the leaves rustle as if they were whispering secrets. Nnenna placed the herbal mixture on Ijoma's forehead and waited in silence. Moments later, Ijoma's eyes fluttered open and she sat up, looking around in confusion. Papa, she said, her voice weak but clear. I feel better. Okafor's face softened with relief, though he struggled to show it. Thank you, Nnenna, he muttered, unable to look her in the eyes. He led Ijoma home, and though he said little, Nnenna knew he was grateful. However, the jealousy and the skepticism of some villagers only grew. They couldn't understand why spirits had chosen a young girl over elders who had devoted their lives to the village. Rumors began to spread, claiming that Nnenna's power were dangerous or that she was using dark magic. One day, as Nnenna walked through the village, a group of young men confronted her. You may have fooled some with your tricks, but we know better. One of them sneered. If you are truly chosen, prove it by protecting yourself. Before Nnenna could respond, they pushed her, and she stumbled to the ground. Just then, Adamma appeared, her eyes fierce as she rushed to her daughter's side. How dare you lay a hand on her? She shouted, standing protectively over Nnenna. An elder, Ichie Nwosu, who had been watching from his hut, stepped forward. Enough! Nnenna had done nothing but to help this village. If the spirits choose her, then we must honor that choice." Shamefaced, the young men stepped back, muttering under their breath. They left, but the encounter left Nnenna shaking. That night, she sat by the iroko tree, seeking comfort from the spirits. As the wind rustled the leaves, she heard the familiar whispers of the spirits. "Do not be afraid, Nnenna. The path of the choosing is never easy. Trust in us and you will find strength. You are never alone." With renewed resolve, Nnenna returned to the village, her heart set on fulfilling her purpose. She knew she would find more trials, but she was ready, for she carried within her the strength of the land, and no doubt or darkness could take that from her. As Nnenna grew older, her reputation in Obodoma continued to spread. Now a beautiful young lady in her early 20s, her beauty was one that melted everyone's heart. Her kindness and healing touch brought comfort to all who crossed her path, making her well loved in her village and beyond. People from the neighboring villages came to seek her wisdom, and the villagers watched her with pride as the girl they had once doubted became a beacon of hope. Yet, despite the love and respect she received, Nnenna often felt quiet loneliness. Her role as the chosen one set her apart, leaving her with few friends, and many treated her with reverence that felt isolating. One afternoon, as Nnenna walked through the village market gathering herbs, she noticed a tall, handsome young man she hasn't seen before. He appeared to be around 25 years, with warm, kind eyes that sparkled with curiosity. His laughter was deep and genuine, drawing the attention of those nearby. As she walked by, their eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to pause. "Are you Nnenna, the healer?" he asked, a soft smile playing on his lips. Nnenna felt her cheeks warm as she nodded. "Yes, I am. And you? Are you not from Obodoma? Are you?" He shook his head. "No, I am Chijoke from the village of Amudo. I have heard many tales about the young woman blessed by the spirits, so I came to see if they were true." Nnenna smiled shyly, glancing down. People love to add their own colors to stories. "I am simply me." Chijoke chuckled. "I find it hard to believe. A simple girl would not be surrounded by tales of magic and healing. Perhaps you can show me what is true." In the days that followed, Chijoke found reasons to linger in Obodoma. He was a skilled craftsman, creating beautiful tools, furniture, and intricate carvings, and his work often took him close to the village. Each morning, he visited the market, hoping to see Nnenna, and before long, they began spending time together. They would walk through the forest, with Nnenna teaching him about the plants and their uses. She felt at ease with Chijoke, who never treated her with fear or reverence. He spoke to her as a friend, someone who saw beyond the tales of the chosen one. One evening, as the sun set, casting golden rays over the village, Chijoke and Nnenna sat by the river bank. Chijoke looked at her with a warmth that made her heart flutter. "Nnenna," he began, his voice low, "have you ever thought about what life would be like if you weren't choosing. Nnenna sighed, staring at water. Sometimes it's a heavy burden, knowing that so many people look to me for answers and for healing. But I also know that I wouldn't change it. The spirit chose me, and I want to honor that choice. But sometimes I wish I could just be a normal girl. Chijioke nodded, his gaze softening. I wish that too. I wish you could have the freedom to choose a life that makes you happy, even if it's not what others expect. Their eyes met, and in that quiet moment, an understanding passed between them. Nnenna felt a warmth she hadn't felt before, a sense of belonging she hadn't realized she craved. She reached for his hand, and he held hers gently, his touch grounding her. But just as their hearts began to open to one another, a voice interrupted them. It was Ichie Nwosu, the village elder, his face grave. Nnenna, he called urgently. There had been a strange sickness spreading in Amudo. They need your help. Chijioke's face paled as he looked at her. My village, my family, he whispered, fear evident in his eyes. Nnenna squeezed his hand, her heart racing. I will come with you, Chijioke. We will face this together. As they journeyed to Amudo, Nnenna sensed a deep darkness hanging over the village. When they arrived, she saw people lying weak in their homes, their faces pale, and their breathing shallow. She didn't know the cause, but she could feel the weight of the spirit guiding her. Night after night, she worked tirelessly, creating mixtures from herbs and whispering prayers to the spirit. Chijioke was by her side, helping her care for his people, his admiration for her growing with each passing day. Together, they fought the illness, and slowly the villagers began to recover. One night, after another long day of healing, Nnenna and Chijioke sat together under the stars. Chijioke turned to her, his eyes filled with gratitude and awe. Nnenna, you have done so much for my people than I could ever repay, he said softly, his voice filled with emotion. I am grateful for you, for your strength, your kindness, and more than that, I care for you, Nnenna. Nnenna's heart swelled with emotion, her voice barely a whisper. I care for you too, Chijioke. You have given me a glimpse of a life I never thought I would have. A life where I am loved, not just for my gifts, but for whom I am. They leaned closer, their forehead touching, and in that moment, they knew they had found something rare and beautiful. Though the path ahead would be difficult, Nnenna knew she could face any trial with Chijioke by her side. As the first light of dawn broke over Amudo, the spirit watched over the two, blessing their union. Nnenna had found love, a love as true as her connection to the land, a love that would give her strength as she walked the path of the chosen one. With the love between Nnenna and Chijioke blossoming, the people of Amudo and Obodoma looked to her with even more reverence. She had healed the sick in Amudo, proving her dedication to her people. Yet, while most celebrated her, whispers of envy and fear lingered in the shadows. One night, as Nnenna returned to her hut in Obodoma, she received a message from an elder named Dike, a respected seer from a nearby village. The message was urgent, warning that a great misfortune would soon fall upon the land, one that will require a powerful sacrifice. The spirits were troubled, Dike said, and it was Nenna's duty to uncover what they desired. The next day, she traveled to meet Dike. She found him by a sacred river where the mist hung heavy and thick, giving the place an eerie silence. Dike's face was grim as he spoke. Nenna, the spirit has given you many blessings, but they demand something in return. The village faces a dark time ahead, and only your sacrifice can save them. Nenna's heart grew heavy. What do they ask of me, Dike? Dike sighed, his face lined with worry. They demand that you leave behind the one thing you hold most dear. Only through this sacrifice can you continue as the chosen one. Without it, the spirits will withdraw their protection, and darkness will fall upon the villages. Her mind raced. She knew exactly what this meant. Her heart was torn between her duty to her people and her love for Chijioke. Returning to Obodoma, Nenna spent many sleepless nights, caught between fear and duty. She tried to carry on as usual, healing the sick and tending to her people, but the weight of the spirit's demand loomed over her. One evening, Chijioke found her sitting alone by the Iroko tree, the same tree where the spirit had first called her. He could see the sorrow in her eyes, and he knelt beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Nenna, what troubles you so deeply? He asked softly. She took a deep breath, steadying her voice. The spirits, they demand a sacrifice. They want me to give up the thing I hold most dear to save the villages. Chijioke's face fell, understanding dawning on him, and that thing is us. Nenna nodded, unable to hold back the tears. I never thought the spirit would ask this of me. I never thought I would have to choose. Chijioke took her hands on his own eyes filled with sadness, but also acceptance. You were chosen for a reason, Nenna. You have brought hope to so many. I knew, even as I fell in love with you, that your destiny might require more than I could give. They sat in silence, their hearts breaking, but Chijioke's grip on her hands never wavered. If this is what the spirit demands, then I will let you go, Nenna. Not because I don't love you, but because I love you enough to let you fulfill your purpose. The next morning, Nenna stood before the elders of Obodoma. Her face solemn, she announced her decision, explaining the spirit warning and her need to honor it. I cannot turn away from my duty. If my sacrifice can protect you all, then it is a price I must pay, she said, her voice steady but tinged with sorrow. The villagers listened in silence, their respect for Nenna growing with each word. They had feared for their lives, and now they understood the depth of her love for them. Chijioke watched from the back of the crowd, his heart aching but full of pride. The days that followed were filled with quiet farewells. Nenna, and Chijioke shared one last walk together, retracing the path they had walked many times, talking about dreams and a future that would never be. In their final moments together, he held her close, whispering, "No matter where you go, Nnenna, I will always carry you in my heart." With a heavy heart, Nnenna returned to the iroko tree one last time. She knelt and closed her eyes, whispering a prayer of gratitude to the spirits for giving her love, even if only for a short time. And as the wind rustled through the leaves, she felt a warmth surround her, a gentle reminder from the spirits that she was never alone. In that moment, she understood that her sacrifice was a testament to her strength and love. Her purpose was larger than her pain, and the love she shared with Chijioke would forever be a part of her, woven into the legacy she would leave behind. From that day on, Nnenna continued her path as the chosen one, a healer for the people and a guardian for her land. And though the ache in her heart remained, she walked her path with renewed resolve, knowing that her love and her sacrifice would protect the villages for generations to come. With Chijioke gone, Nnenna stayed focused on healing and helping the people of Obodoma. The villagers looked up to her, but no one admired her strength more than her mother, Adamma. Adamma always believed that Nnenna was meant for something special, even if it meant facing challenges alone. One night, Nnenna had a strange dream. She saw a dark forest, and a voice called her name, asking her to come closer. When she woke up, she felt nervous, but knew she had to speak to Elder Dike, the village seer. Before leaving, she spoke with her mother. "Mama, I feel the spirits are calling me somewhere far, and maybe dangerous." Adamma was worried, but stayed calm. "Listen to them, Nnenna, but remember, not all spirits meant well. Be careful." Nnenna hugged her mother tightly. "I promise I will be careful, Mama. I will come back." After speaking with Dike, Nnenna returned to share her plans. "Mama, the spirits want me to go to a place called Ezele. They said there are great darkness there. A sorcerer who is making life hard for everyone." Adamma frowned, but kept her voice strong. "You must do what is right, but remember, you are my daughter, a child of love and light." The next morning, Adamma packed some food and charms for Nnenna. "Take these, Nnenna, they will protect you. And remember, I'm always with you." Nnenna held her mother's hand and felt brave. "Thank you, Mama. I will keep you close in my heart." The journey to Ezele was hard. Nnenna walked through the thick forest, climbed hills, and crossed rivers. Each night, she held her mother's charm, feeling her mother's love along the way. Villagers told how Ezele was covered in darkness because of sorcerer who had stolen a powerful relic. Hearing this made Nnenna nervous, but she remembered her mother's words. When she reached Ezele, the sky seemed darker, and the villagers were afraid. They told her the sorcerer's magic was powerful. Nnenna listened carefully and decided she had to face him, even if it was scary. That night, She walked into the forest where the sorcerer lived. She held her mother's charm and thought of her village and all the people she loved. In the middle of the forest, she saw the sorcerer waiting for her, his face hidden in shadow, his eyes glowing. "You think you can stop me?" He laughed. "I am too powerful for you." Nnenna stayed calm. "I don't fear you. I carry the love and strength of my family and my people." The sorcerer grew angry and threw dark magic toward her. But Nnenna held her charm tightly, and a bright light shone around her, blocking the dark magic. She closed her eyes, remembering her mother's voice, and asked the spirit for help. The light grew stronger, and the sorcerer stepped back, looking afraid. What is this?" he shouted. "This is the power of love and light," Nnenna said boldly. The sorcerer tried to attack again, but the light around Nnenna grew brighter and stronger, pushing him back. Finally, the dark magic shattered, and the sorcerer's power broke into pieces. The relic he held fell to the ground, and he disappeared in a cloud of smoke. The darkness lifted from Ezele, and the villagers were free. The air became fresh, and the people came out, cheering for Nnenna. They called her the Light of Ezele, thanking her for saving them. When she returned to Obodoma, her mother was waiting for her at the village entrance. Nnenna ran into her arms, feeling safe and loved. "You did it, my daughter," Adamma whispered. Nnenna smiled, tears in her eyes. "Your love helped me, Mama. I could feel it every step of the way." As they walked home together, Nnenna knew that she would always carry her mother's love and courage with her, ready for any challenge that might come her way. After Nnenna saved the village of Ezele, she returned to Obodoma. Though everyone cheered for her bravery, her heart still ached with memories of Chijioke. One evening, as she sat quietly by the fire, she looked up at the stars and whispered, "Chijioke, wherever you are, I wish I could see you again." As if in answer, a gentle breeze swept through the trees, and a warm glow appeared before her. Nnenna gasped, recognizing the spirit of the forest. "Nnenna," the spirit spoke, its voice like a soft echo. "Your love for Chijioke is strong. I have heard your heart's wish." Nnenna exclaimed, filled with hope. "Is there a way for me to see him again?" "Yes, Nnenna," the spirit said. "Your love is pure, and love like this doesn't end. You will be rewarded for your bravery and saving Ezele village. Go to the river bank at dawn, and there you will find the one your heart seeks." The spirit disappeared, leaving Nnenna filled with excitement and joy. She hardly slept that night. The next day, she hurried to the river bank just as the sun began to rise. As she reached the river, she whispered, "Please, spirit, let me see him again." "Nnenna," a familiar voice called. She turned and saw Chijioke standing across the river. She ran to him, her heart racing. "Chijioke," she cried, joy filling her eyes as she embraced him tightly. "I miss you so much." "I miss you too, Nnenna," Chijioke replied, holding her close. I thought I would never see you again, but something told me to come here. I felt as if I was being guided by you. Nnenna looked up at him with tears in her eyes. The spirits of the forest had blessed us. They wanted us to be together again. Chijioke smiled, gently wiping a tear from her cheek. I never stopped loving you, Nnenna. Even when I was far away, you were always in my heart. Nnenna's heart swelled with happiness, and you were always in mine. I thought I would lost you forever. Chijioke held her hands and looked into her eyes. We are here now, together. Let's promise each other that no matter what, we will stand by each other. I promise, Chijioke, Nnenna said softly. Together, we can face anything. As they sat by the river, talking as the sun rose higher, Chijioke looked at her and said, Tell me everything, Nnenna. I want to know what you went through. Nnenna smiled and began to tell him about her journey, the challenges she faced, and how she found the courage to save the village. Chijioke listened with admiration in his eyes. You are so brave, Nnenna, he said. You have a heart like no other. Nnenna looked down shyly. I was afraid, but I knew I had to help the people of Ezele. Chijioke took her hands in his. And that is what I love about you. You are kind and fearless. I am so proud of you. They shared a warm, joyful laugh as they continued to talk. Nnenna felt her heart lighten with every word, and she knew she could face anything as long as Chijioke was by her side. Finally, they stood hand in hand, ready to return to the village. The spirits had indeed blessed them, allowing their love to blossom once again. With hearts full of hope, they walked back to Obodoma, ready to face life's journey together. The morning sun cast a soft glow over Nnenna's village, and the air was filled with a gentle hum of villagers starting their day. Nnenna walked along the path leading to the market, her heart lighter than it had been in years. She couldn't believe the news she had heard the night before. Chijioke was moving to her village. He was leaving everything behind to be closer to her. As she reached the market, she spotted him. Chijioke was standing by the well, talking with some of the village elders, who were clearly thrilled to welcome him. His presence sent a thrill through her heart, and she felt her cheeks warm as their eyes met. He smiled, and she walked over, unable to contain her excitement. Chijioke, you are really here, Nnenna said, her voice barely above a whisper. Chijioke took her hand, his gaze filled with warmth. Yes, Nnenna, I wanted to be close to you, and my work is nearby. This village already feels like home to me. They spent the day together, walking through the village. Chijioke greeted old friends and meeting new faces. Many of the villagers welcomed him with open arms, grateful that Nnenna had someone as loyal and kind by her side. They walked past the tall palms and winding paths that led to the river, talking and laughing, their worries forgotten. As they reached a quiet spot by the water, Chijioke turned to her, his expression serious yet gentle. Nnenna, I have left my old life behind because I want a future with you. this is where I want to be. I want to build a life here, by your side." Nnenna's heart fluttered with joy. She had dreamed of this moment, but never truly believed it could happen. "Chijioke, you have no idea how much this means to me. I have waited so long to be with you." As they sat by the river, listening to the soft rustle of the leaves and the distant chirping of birds, for the first time, Nnenna felt a deep sense of peace. Chijioke was here, in her village, choosing to be with her, and she knew that they would never be separated again. In the weeks that followed, Chijioke settled into village life. He took up a job close by. Every evening, after work, he would walk to Nnenna's house, where they could sit together, sharing stories, and laugh under the starlight sky. The villagers would often see them together and smile, knowing that true love had brought them together. One evening, as they sat outside, Chijioke turned to Nnenna with a gentle smile. "You know, I think the spirit led me to this village for a reason." Nnenna looked at him, her eyes filled with warmth. "And what reason is that?" Chijioke took her hand, holding it close to his heart. "Because you are my reason, Nnenna. You have been my guide, my hope, my everything. I am here because I love you, and I want to make a life with you." Overwhelmed with happiness, Nnenna held his hand tightly. "Chijioke, you filled my life with joy. I thank the spirit every day for bringing you to me." From that night on, Nnenna and Chijioke began planning their future together. They would walk through the village, dreaming of the family they would build one day. Their love was a blessing, and the village celebrated them, knowing that their love story was one for the ages. And so, with each passing day, their love grew deeper, rooted in the rich soil of Nnenna's village, unbreakable and strong. They had found their way back to each other, and nothing would ever separate them again. Nnenna's name had become well known in the village of Obodoma for her healing gifts. Day after day, people came to her with ailments, and with gentle hands and a warm heart, she would treat them. Her knowledge of herbs and remedies seemed almost magical, and she worked tirelessly to bring comfort and relief to everyone in need. Her kindness left a mark on each person she helped, and the village felt blessed to have her. Chijioke, meanwhile, continued his work as a skilled craftsman. He spent his days carving wood and shaping metal, making beautiful tools, furniture, and art that people from nearby villages came to buy. His handwork kept him busy, but his happiest moments were those he shared with Nnenna. Her presence brought a light into his life that filled his heart with joy. Under the soft glow of the setting sun, Chijioke asked Nnenna to go on a walk with him. They strolled by the river, watching a fireflies flickered in the dim light. Chijioke held her hand, his heart racing with excitement. "Nnenna," he began, his voice full of tenderness, "you have shown me a love that I never thought I would find. Every day, you bring happiness and warmth into my life. I want to spend my life with you, sharing in each moment, big and small." Nnenna looked at him, her eyes shining with love. "Chijioke, I feel the same way. My heart is at peace when I am with you. You are my closest friend and my joy." Taking a deep breath, Chijioke brought out a simple handcraft ring he had made himself. "Nnenna, please marry me." Tears of happiness filled Nnenna's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, Chijioke, I will marry you." They embraced each other, feeling the love and happiness of that moment settled deep in their hearts. Their engagement quickly spread through the village, and people came to congratulate them, blessing their union and wishing them happiness. The next day, Chijioke knew it was time to share the wonderful news with his family. He packed a small bag and journeyed back to his village, where his parents welcomed him with open arms, curious about bright smiles on his face. "Chijioke," his mother said, "you look happier than we have ever seen you." Chijioke grinned, unable to hide his excitement. "Mama, Papa, I have something to tell you both. I have found the woman I wish to marry. Her name is Nnenna, and she is a healer, known for her kindness and gentle spirit." His parents' face lit up with joy as they exchanged excited glances. "Is she the same Nnenna who once came to our village?" His mother asked eagerly. "The great healer who saved many of our people with her gifts?" Chijioke nodded, pride in his voice. "Yes, Mama, she is the same Nnenna, well known and respected by all." His father smiled boldly, placing a hand on his son's shoulder. "You have chosen wisely, my son, to marry a woman like Nnenna. A healer with such a kind heart is truly a blessing. The gods must be watching over you." Chijioke's mother's eye glistened with joy. "What a wonderful match! We are honored to welcome a woman like Nnenna in our family. She has already shown her goodness to our people, and now she will bring that same warmth into our life." With heart full of happiness, Chijioke's family began to make plans to meet Nnenna's parents and formally ask for her hand in marriage. The village will soon hear of the wonderful news, and the celebration of Chijioke and Nnenna's union will be one that no one would ever forget.